So I want to share the biggest mistakes I made that I would love to help you avoid. I see a lot of artists do these as well in the creative process. During our time together, I'm going to help you identify which mistakes you might be making that may be holding you back, what's missing from your art process, how to finally finish paintings you're really happy with to share with the world, and learn why more techniques or applying design principles won't help you always solve paintings or find your unique style. And you're in the right place if you're experiencing any of these problems. Maybe you've been painting for a few years and you've taken all the courses, workshops, and you still feel like something is missing from your art. Maybe you've been trying to figure out your unique style and you don't know what makes your artwork unique and how to stand out. Maybe you have a studio full of half-baked artwork that you don't want to show yet, or you don't know if it's good enough, or it's not artwork that you're proud of, and you worry that that next move is going to ruin it. You might feel paralyzed by a blank canvas, not really sure how to generate fresh ideas more consistently. Maybe you've been selling your artwork and you want to evolve, but you feel called to do something more that's unique inside of you, but you really don't know how to make that transition or what that artwork will look like. And let's face it, the struggles as an artist are real and they come in cycles. And I want to share with you a cycle I see frequently among myself and other artists. Crickets on Instagram are a real thing, and it's super competitive out there. And then it sucks to feel not really super connected to our artwork or inspired by our own work because we're seeing so many other artists succeeding out there, and it feels a bit like, ugh. And so it's hard to get excited about doing new artwork when you have a studio of unfinished artwork that you're not proud of. And then you may be sick of repeating yourself and you're not really excited about the art process itself, and it all feels a bit daunting. Wishing that you could feel excited to start new artwork, but you only feel discouraged and self-doubt. If this is a cycle that you feel, I totally understand and get it, and I'll share why. Struggles are often caused by one of these mistakes. You don't have a process for revealing who you are as an artist. Looking at other artists for ideas, this can actually kill your unique voice. Tutorials and looking over other artists' shoulders for techniques isn't going to help you. I am talking about something different. If I ask you, what's the feeling that you want to have in your artwork? Most artists can't answer that, and that is a big problem that we have. I'm going to share why. Relying on design compositional problems to solve unfinished paintings usually can't help a bigger problem that I see happen. And I really believe your art style doesn't come from technique. That's why learning more techniques isn't going to help you. Now, let's be clear. This is not for you if you are super happy with your artwork or your art process. If you don't want to evolve your work over time or change, if you really love just what you're doing and you want to keep repeating that, this is not for you if you're not interested in discovering your unique voice and deepening that unique point of view. This is not for you if you're not looking for an ideation process, clarity, and troubleshooting process. You can see the before and after photos right here. So what I'm going to share with you got me from here in those early days to here. In case you don't know who I am Michele Luminato, and I loved painting, but I sucked really bad. And the struggle was very real for me. I could see glimpses of me, but it wasn't consistent. After 3 years of struggling, I realized I had to do something big or it just wasn't going to work out. The biggest mistakes I made that I would love to help you avoid. Mistake number one, I've actually termed it the iceberg effect. I think there's a real deep misunderstanding of what an actual process is. Most artists look from the outside at technique to learn what other artists are doing. Think about it. You might be on Instagram and you're looking like, what are they doing? What are they actually doing? What paints do they use? How do they technically do it? But technique is not a process. Technique is an outcome. And technique really isn't driven from an inside-out process. It's not the complete picture. It's looking from the outside. So the problem with going from technique down is that it doesn't give you the best quality answers, or better said, it's not asking quality questions. The technique is not asking about you, your unique voice. And the good news is every single artist has their own unique voice already. It's already there. You are literally 1 out of 8 billion people in the world. No one else can be like you. And so your unique voice is the key. And if you don't have a process for revealing your voice, how will you stay inspired and evolve as an artist? And how will you find artwork that you really feel satisfied with? But why is this important? Tracy Emin says this best: art is the transfer of emotions. Paul Cézanne says a work of art which did not begin in emotion is not art. Painting is not painting. Why this, why that? Painting is about feeling, and what you feel you must express. And that was said by Pablo Picasso. So connecting your heart to your head is the most important job of the artist, but it's not easy. Because the challenge is a lot of artists don't know how to get in touch with their emotions and express themselves authentically. But it's not our fault at all, because we often don't like to talk about our feelings. How the heck are we supposed to express them? Gallerists often speak about art that truly resonates deeply, or the power of art to move people, to create a feeling, awe, and wonder. And collectors often talk about falling in love with a piece or feeling a connection to a piece of artwork. And these phrases suggest a deep emotional and even spiritual bond to artwork. And this emotional connection can't be denied. And so we as artists must connect our head to our heart. And honestly, we also have to feel a connection to our art to feel satisfied. And when we're not feeling a connection, that's why we feel so dissatisfied with our art. Mistake number 2, I call the tutorial trap. Looking over someone else's shoulder is really tempting because you want to replicate their techniques and you feel like this is going to be a shortcut. But honestly, this can lead away from your authentic voice. So instead of copying others, focus on developing your own unique style and expressing your own experiences by using a process that mirrors who you are and discovering those expressions. So many artists are trying to copy what they see others do, which makes it hard to overcome imitation. This is why the market feels so crowded. So many artists are doing the same thing, and it's hard to stand out because everybody's copying the same people. So the big idea here is the process to work from the inside out, learning how to express ourselves better by revealing who we are as we evolve as people. We are not static, we evolve. And so a true process really allows for an ideation process, so there's way more depth and richness below the surface. And the goal is working from the bottom up, where you really bubble up the ideation process. Technique is informed and discovered from this process, and you won't even need tutorials because you're literally going to discover your own process. So we've seen how the iceberg effect can lead us astray, but even if we avoid the tutorial trap, there's another mistake that can hold us back. I often see artists make it as well. Mistake number 3 is using artists as your inspiration. If you have an inspiration board full of other artists' artwork, it only says more about them than you. You need to dig deeper into more meaningful inspiration that reflects your unique voice, your vibe. And this inspiration should be more like a reflection and a mirror so that you can see yourself back more clearly. That's what true inspiration should be doing, and that's what it does best for us when we use it properly. So the iceberg effect, the tutorial trap, using other artists as inspiration, these combined common mistakes often lead to this lack of connection, this misleading of the soul, and it's often the heartbreaking reason why you can't finish paintings you're proud of. So even if you know all the design principles and all the compositional tricks to finish paintings, if you're not feeling connected to it, you can't finish it, even if you get the composition right, because you're not feeling connected and satisfied. So if you're feeling a sense of dissatisfaction, missing a deeper connection to your artwork, this is really why. You might feel like you're not really clear on what your soul wants to express. And this can be really a deep-rooted problem because we're not digging deeper. You might be riddled with self-doubt, not yet trusting your intuition or what's inside of you, that it actually is worthy and relevant. You might be unclear of what will actually work, missing a personalized creative system to overcome blocks and build confidence from an internal place. So what I'm talking about is really coming from an internal place. So what if you could always troubleshoot? What if you could have a solution from an internal place? Looking at your artwork from an internal place allows you to discover your voice and helps you create within, infusing your work with genuine feeling and finally expressing your true self, which is lighting your soul on fire. This is why it's so hard to evolve your artwork and find your unique style. You're not really giving yourself space to build confidence in yourself and understand who you actually are and what kind of artwork actually expresses the most authentic version of yourself. And by avoiding these mistakes and embracing a more holistic approach, which is what we're going to talk about next, you can create artwork that's both technically sound and deeply meaningful. What I recommend to do instead is making artwork with a better studio process. Implement a customizable, reliable process that reveals you working below the surface, that encourages exploration, ideation, troubleshooting before you ruin a painting, finding unique techniques and ways of painting that only you can make. So you're going to have better results if you slow down for better quality questions.